Weekly status. A summary of the most important geopolitical, war and military events that took place in the last week. USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group arrived in the Middle East region as the American military buildup around Iran continued. The task force, sailing from the Pacific, brought with itself the most advanced air wing in the US Third Fleet, consisting of F-35C Lightning II 5th-gen fighter jets, as well as FA-18E Super Hornet 4th-gen fighter jets, and EA-18G Growler electronic warfare jets. Russian forces have begun the evacuation from the Kamishli airbase in northeastern Syria amid fears of an imminent advance of Syrian government troops into the area. The base remained a major stronghold of the Russian military in Syria for nearly a decade. Russian forces carried out drone strikes on a passenger train in Ukraine's Kharkiv Oblast, causing it to engulf in flames. At least 4 people have been killed as a result of the attack, per Ukrainian authorities. Russian drone strikes targeted the Brody linear production and traffic control station located in Lviv Oblast, western Ukraine. A significant fire broke out at the facility as a result of the attack. The object is a critical node of the Odessa-Brody oil pipeline. The North Korean military conducted live fire tests of its new ultra-heavy KN-25 600mm multiple rocket launcher, by some described also as a short-range ballistic missile system. The exercise was personally supervised by North Korea's Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have both ruled out the use of their airspace and territory for any potential US attack on Iran, as American military assets continued to flow into the Middle East region. Photos of a Russian-made Mi-28 in digital desert camo stationed in a hangar have emerged on social media, which indicated that Iran might have received the first batch of those combat helicopters from Russia. The deal to acquire an unspecified number of Mi-28 attack helicopters by Tehran from Moscow was first announced in November 2023. US officials said that Washington will return the Panama-flagged Sofia oil tanker to Venezuela. The ship was apprehended by US forces on January 7, 2026. It wasn't immediately clear why the vessel would be returned. US President Trump has once again threatened Iran, noting that a massive armada is heading its way and adding that time is running out for Tehran to make a deal. For the time being, it remained only a war of words between Washington and Tehran, with Iranian Foreign Minister Saeed Abbas Araghchi responding to US President on X. US President Trump announced that he personally asked Russian President Putin not to strike Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities for a week due to extremely cold weather. According to Trump, Putin agreed. Ukrainian President Zelensky acknowledged Trump's announcement, but added that it was solely an American initiative and there were no direct talks on energy ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Zelensky noted that if Russia holds attacks on Ukrainian energy facilities, Ukraine would cease strikes on Russian energy objects too. US President Trump informed that the US would shortly reopen the Venezuelan airspace for commercial traffic. Trump ordered the closure of Venezuela's airspace on November 29, 2025 as a part of the political pressure campaign on Venezuelan authorities. Following weeks of tensions, the Syrian government and Syrian Democratic Forces agreed on a permanent ceasefire deal that sets out a phased integration of the Kurdish-led autonomy in northeastern Syria into the state. US envoy in Syria, Tom Barrack, declared Friday's accord a profound and historic milestone in Syria's journey toward national reconciliation, unity, and enduring stability. Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhail Fedorov announced that Ukrainian authorities are cooperating with Elon Musk's SpaceX on the issue of Starlink antennas being employed in Russian UAVs. In recent time, the use of drones equipped with Starlink by Russian forces has become a widespread issue. The use of Starlink antennas provides the Russian UAVs with greater range and better protection against Ukrainian electronic countermeasures such as jamming. According to investigation by Nordsyn, Russia was able to organize a supply chain of Starlink terminals through the United Arab Emirates by manipulating customs declarations and product certification records. The Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council of Iran, Ali Larijani, announced that progress has been made in negotiations with the United States. Also on Saturday, US President Trump confirmed that the talks with Iranians were ongoing but reminded that the big US armada was nearing Iran. Qatari Prime and Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani visited Tehran to hold talks with Iranian officials in an attempt to de-escalate tensions in the region. Pakistani authorities informed that Pakistani security forces killed 145 militants in a 40-hour battle launched after a series of coordinated gun and bomb attacks across Balochistan left nearly 50 people dead. It was another episode of a bloody conflict between the Pakistani state and Balochistan separatist groups that have been raging for decades. And here's a bonus of the week. The invasion of combat penguins. These are Russian soldiers wearing a penguin-like winter camouflage suits that are also supposed to reduce the heat signature. List of the sources is in the description. Thank you for watching, bye for now.